We are at the historical Medicine Hot Springs property, the one and only.
At first glance, it appears you're at a resort. So what makes this property so special?
I've always said that Montana is the treasure state, and this property in particular is a cache of treasures. This hill is where the magic is. This is where the hot springs are located. In 1976, there was a study done on all these hot springs in the Bitterroot Valley, and there's only one that produces electricity, and it's this one, Medicine Hot Springs.
Look around, and you'll quickly learn why Montana has the nickname the Treasure State.
1870, the first non-native man graced this property, and then 1890 is when the first person homesteaded this property, Mr. Ed Wiles. It was formerly known as Wiles Hot Springs, and then it's exchanged hands, and then in the early 1900s, Mr. Nordgren renamed it Medicine Hot Springs. Data shows that Mr. Wiles had rheumatism, and this actually, the healing waters of this property cured his rheumatism.
From quiet creeks to wooded mountainsides, there's plenty to grab your attention.
What stands out to you?
The hot springs, the history, how special this area is, how special the South Valley is. These areas in the hill are where the hot springs, the natural hot springs are. They come down, they're gathered in these junction boxes, if you will, and oh, it's a heavy one. The water in this hole is 117 degrees.
Oh, it is definitely warm. Feels so good though.
It's the magnesium. Now your hands will feel like you have lotion on them. I have so many favorites of this property that it's really hard to narrow it down to just two, but obviously the hot springs.
It's now time for a history lesson, or two, or three. Let's learn something.
In 1925, an earthquake rocked Medicine Hot Springs, and not only did it increase the water's temperature, it increased the flow rate. Mr. Bertie Lord, you will appreciate this, he was a Victorian photographer and one of the people that took almost all the historical photographs of the South Valley in the early 1900s, and Mr. Bertie Lord purchased his first camera while he was the owner of this property.
And there's so many different things that you can choose from out here.
So there was a 3-story hotel on property at one point and a croquet ground. And there was also a larger historic bathhouse. And so what I see from historical photos is everyone took pictures by that bathhouse. I like to call this the cowboy bathhouse. This is where I imagine back in the early 1900s where a real cowboy used to come and take a bath. Mr. Bertie Lord, who owned this property for some time, he had a picture of his pet bear drinking a beer on this property.
Is that photo still available, you think so?
It is, and I'll show you that photo.
That's awesome. That is Montana right there.
Yes, sir, it is. So most of the cabins that you're looking at on this lower level, they were all erected. They're hand-hewn logs from 1935. This place is like stepping back into history.
The East Game Lodge has a more modern look. But like most of the property, there's a story to tell.
So this bar is said to have been salvaged from the Big Hole. My thought is I could really imagine Calamity Jane having a shot of whiskey here. We're going to conclude here at the West Lodge. This is a beautiful 4,000 square foot lodge, 4 bedrooms. These pipes here were the original water pipes of Darby, just a hollowed out tree with some metal wire wrapped around it. So come on in.
So how does a property rich in history wind up on an auction block?
Been listed for over a year. We've had a very good amount of showings on the property for, remote and price. And my clients just made the extremely savvy business decision to engage an auction company. That this is not a distress auction. This is not a courthouse steps auction, but it's a luxury auction. And Elite Auctions has been incredible to bring all the attention that this property quite frankly deserves. I mean, we've been in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Mansion Global, and now I have the pleasure of speaking with you.
Who does it interest?
My clients used it for a corporate retreat for their nurses. They're a group of nurses that own this company, 2 gals, Betsy and Colleen, and they've used it for their corporate retreat. I've had different people from NFL players to celebrities on property. Local land barons have looked at this property, and it's a little mix of both. Somebody who wants to use it as a mountain private retreat, and then there's also people that are looking at this as, how can I turn this into a commercial business venture?